I don't I don't see you on. Would you call me to WhatsApp? Then I can just leave it there. Yeah, who raised his hand? Okay.
The historical development of psychology.
The
The historical development of psychology.
origins of the word psychology. The origins of the word psychology indicate that the field of psychology has a long history that dates back to ancient Greek civilization. The study of psychology was developed between the year 384 BC to 322 BC by Greek scholars such as Socrates, Plato and Aristotle. During the time, psychology was part of the study of philosophy rather than a scientific study of its own. After the period of early Greek civilization, the history of psychology can be grouped according to the understanding and perspectives of several prominent psychologists.
Definition of educational psychology.
Educational psychology concerned with human maturation, school learning, teaching methods, guidance, and evaluation of aptitude and progress by standardized tests.
If there is a question in your papers, the role of a psychology, explain role of a psychology, these key terms should be there. It concerns the human maturation and school learning, teaching methods, guidance and counseling. Counseling part is guidance and counseling, evaluation of aptitude, and the progress of standardized test. These are the main key roles of education psychology. Okay, I remember the thing.
Definition of educational psychology.
Educational psychology concerned with human maturation, school learning, teaching methods, guidance, and evaluation of aptitude and progress by standardized tests. Education as an objective science was strongly promoted around 1900 by Alfred Binet and Edward Thorndike. Binet was who invented the first intelligence tests, and they were extended and promoted in English by Louis Terman.
Binet's ideas were sympathetic to Thorndike, who was above all interested in turning psychology into a real science by research, measurement and empirical evidence.
The arrival of World War I caused a huge conscription of men into the fighting services. Sorting out men of all types was an urgent problem.
Yeah, this is the main role when it comes to the World War One. Who will put into front line? It was a main concern. Then, of course, sorting out the men's type of personality of the at that time became a main task of psychology.
The intelligence tests proved to be very useful at helping get the right men into the right jobs. Not surprisingly, the use of IQ tests continued in education, where a similar problem of sorting out occurs in unselected public school enrollments.
Definition of
Educational psychology concerned with human maturation, school learning, teaching methods, guide.
Education psychology having many approaches. This is what I want to say. To understand psychology, according to different point of view, they explain psychological behavior in different manners. This is, of course, something confusing. You are not supposed to get confused when you are going to understand how this behavior occurs and all. Of course, it explained from many angles. That's called approaches. In some books, this is where you get confused. In some books, it explained as a theories, and some books you find the school of thought. School of thought in psychology is parallel word having different meaning also. Okay. Again, another book says approaches. Then I thought of giving you a clear understanding at the very beginning. All these three words having similar meaning, but when you go to the deep ends, it got a different meaning. To understand this behavior, many set of scientists explain the fundamentals of behavior in different manners. Okay, that's why I call different approaches to understand behavior. That you have to keep that in your mind very strongly. Different set of scientists in the field of psychology explain behavior in a different, from a different angle, That's why I call approaches. There are many main approaches, but scholars, readers, I get disappointed, get confused of these three words. Approaches. In some books, they explain approaches as a theories. In some books, they explain these different set of ideologies as a school of thought. Okay, that keep that in your mind very strongly, because it will become more complicated when you read many books of these things, and going to explain the different way.
These include the behaviorism, psychoanalytic, humanistic and biological approaches.
Basically, one set of scientists explain is the behavior occurs because of the stimulus of the environment. That is the main ideology, mainstream, main theme of the behavior. They explain, called behaviorism. They call it behavior occurs is a matter of responding for environmental influence. Another set of scientists says yes, but it is not 100% matter of environment influence. If it is the behavior occurs just like a SR, stimuli response things, why many humans behave in a different way for the same stimulus? Then next set of scientists explain this phenomenon. It is matter of not a just plain response, stimuli and thinking process going on, and then only behavior comes. That type of another set of scientists came with bears this idea. It is not just stimuli response or trial and error. They are doing an understanding, something other than that. Another set of scientists called humanists, they call human behave for different purposes, different reasons. For they are having a drives, instincts, and other things, and many things are there only unique for humans. Human performance cannot be judged by just plain thinking process and by observing the influence of the stimuli of the environment. That is another set of scientists. Now, three group of scientists or group of approaches, group of school of thought. Another set of scientists explain the biological influence of the behavior. These are the main four approaches or four school of thought, four main theories in your diploma. There are more. There are more. We are going to talk of only three groups here, three approaches or three school of thought: behaviorism, and cognitives, and humanistic. I misinterpret. There's psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis school, the second one, mainly with Freud and all. They said it is their early learning experience stored there in the mind to satisfy their basic drives human behave. Behaviorism, psychoanalysis, cognitives, biologists, and biologists, there is another thing missing, all cognitives. Cognitives mean that thinking process involved. It is not here, okay? It is, yeah. There are many more. There are many more. But for our basic level understanding and diploma level understanding, these four uh, things is enough. Wait.
The behaviorism approach. The behaviorism approach stated that psychologists do not have to consider mental events, conscious and unconscious, and that they should instead focus on behavior that is overt and non-overt. Watson, a behaviorist, stated that all aspects relating to a person's behavior are influenced by the environment rather than by internal factors.
These theories and fundamental research we are going to watch and understand. For the first day, it's maybe too much, but I can't help it because we are having only limited number of hours. Only one credit, top one credit means 15 hours workload, contact hours workload. We have to work, and if you are so interested, then I can show you the way to understand, getting a clear understanding all these things. But enough understanding I am going to give you. If you want to still expand your knowledge, I can give you recommended book for reading, further reading, and get understanding. Don't get upset of these. Many names are there. Watson's, those are scientists. Okay, they did research on these things. We are going to watch next day of this their original research, and then you can have a better understanding how this theory is being framed.
Watson's ideas have contributed to the behaviorism approach that stresses on the idea that behavior and mental processes are consequences of learning. Bessline and others.
Nothing serious in this thinking thing. It's the pre-learning. When again stimuli comes, pre-learning comes to surface and behave. That's the progress.
According to this approach, behavior is a series of responses that happens when there are stimuli.
Keep this in mind. Stimuli, the environment influence. Okay, environmental influence. Hereafter, in the next lessons, we are going to call as a S. S represent stimuli. Stimuli is the environmental influence. Environmental signal, we take it that way. Any signals or any environmental input on our senses.
This approach is also known as stimulus response psychology.
Yeah, merely in the books they use these two letters together. SR theory. SR theory. Okay. wait. That they call it a SR theory, stimuli response theory. Okay.
In addition to Watson, other behaviorism psychologists were Ivan Pavlov, B.F. Skinner and D.L. Thorndike. Pavlov was credited for the concept of classic conditioning, where he did an experiment on a dog to show the relationship between stimulus, food, and response,
Ivan
saliva.
Pavlov, he did a research. What made to saliva process take place in the mouth? Is a matter of the combination of the food or something else? He proved his point. It is not just food make mouth watering process. When you learn something comes with the food, it process take place not only from food, any other stimuli come with food, make it happen. That's called it's a matter of learning. Anticipatory food also make us give us a mouth watering signals. That is what we are going to learn of these things. Just I'm just surfacely introduce these things, and in depth understanding I will give next day. Okay. I know that for one day it's too much, but I can't help it.
Thorndike, 1874 to 1949, introduced the theory of trial and error conditioning.
Yes, not I put into, I think, to everyone, isn't it? Yeah, I think I put it into everyone. If if you miss the note, you borrow it from your friends. That's all right. Okay.
In this theory, the basic principle of learning is the influence of reward and punishment.
Again, another theory introduced by Thorndike.
In this theory, the basic principle of learning is the influence of
Yeah,
reward
again,
and
these
punishment.
theories in detail we are going to learn just as an introduction. We are going to learn when we are doing something, and we are going to learning take place. For instance, this is called trial and error. Think of switches having many switches. If you go for some other new house and all, there are a lot of switches in the same place. When how you are going to uh, if I ask you how you are going to choose the correct switch to on, it's a matter of usually that's how animal learn. You just try all the switches, and you can find the right switch. That's the one way of doing that. That type of a learning we call trial and error. Doing and error, by doing error things, and you are going to find the correct thing. Called trial and error. This research done based on a cat accidentally pulled the trigger of the hatch and opened the door and got the reward as a food. Then the learning took place. That is the findings of these things. I will show you the real research video. Then you are going to have a clear picture of that. Okay, that's called trial and error. TNR. Okay, SNR first. Now again TNR.
An organism will do something that will bring them pleasure. On the other hand, the organism will avoid doing something that will bring about pain or danger to them. According to Thorndike, Reward drives the organism to repeat a response, whereas punishment will prevent the organism from responding. In other words, an organism relates a particular response to a particular stimulus. Thorndike labeled this type of learning as instrumental or operant learning, which was later further developed by Skinner.
Yeah, this thing called operant learning. Operant means operation. When you do something, you learn something called operant, action, operation, with the operant condition, operant learning. By doing it within the operation, you are going to learn it. When you are doing something, you get a good outcome. That's called positive reinforcement. If you get a bad outcome, it's called negative outcome, negative reinforcement. That is how usual animals and human learns. Usual animal and human. Even some human, they don't learn these things. Animal learns. They are doing the same thing again and again. They blunder idiots sometimes. Wait. I just want to wait.
Skinner
I just switch off this annotated part for the participants. You fellows, naughty fellows, disable annotated. You,
Skinner, 1904 to 1990, is well known for operant conditioning that measures the influence of reward and punishment. He did his experiments on mice and pigeons.
Skinner did a research of, by using rats and pigeon. That pigeon, when they are desperate of having food, they connect this right icon to knock and get the food. Okay, that learning take place is just a connect with the right thing with the right outcomes. Okay, that is how the learning take place according to Skinner. It's called operant, operation condition.
In his controlled experiments, he succeeded in measuring the process of learning by changing the frequency of rewards and punishments.
Excuse me, sir. Hello. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, speak. Yeah, is it you?
Uh,
Are you the one send this message that you? Sorry, disturbing. We can't hear you clearly. We or you?
I'm sorry, sir. Good evening.
Yeah.
From the beginning, I didn't understand the lesson.
Which part you didn't understand?
From the beginning, sir.
So even I have
Can you
an
please
issue,
understand?
that's not clear.
Ask from others also?
Say it again.
Sir, even I have an issue. It's a bit hard to understand because I feel it's a bit rushing. So I feel
Say
it's
it
a
again,
bit.
say it again. Hold on. Speak slowly. Yeah, now, yeah.
Sir, it's hard for me also to understand. I feel it's a bit rushy. So I think it's a bit hard to understand as well. Because it's a new subject for us. I don't know, for me, it's a
Yeah.
new subject.
For
One
me
at a
also
time.
same, sir.
Yeah, one at a time. I'm going to have a poll. Okay, I'm going to have a poll. I'm going to have a survey now because I think I need to think of a bit another way to tackle these things. You could have told me at the very beginning. Then I can I thought of a different way to conduct it because okay. Now I need your response. Say yes and no. I think that you can. You know how to respond to me. What's the language you used to think? English or Sinhala? The people who are used to English, Sinhala, and Tamil, 3 languages, those who are used to think this is natural thing, because a new subject in a new strange set of words, it is not that easy to learn. Which from the very beginning I'm going to step by step. Is it the word you can't understand or content? Is word, new words? Say yes now. Yeah, you can say yes and no with your you know that how to respond. I think that you are familiar with the Zoom business. You can respond to me.
Sir, can you please
Okay.
repeat your question?
Say it again.
Can you please repeat your question?
Okay. The difficulty of understanding the subject matter, is it new set of word? Say yes or no.
Mostly yes, sir, because this is a psychology lesson, no? Therefore, many words are new for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking a response from you to understand whether it's a common thing or do I need to tackle it in a different way. If it is a majority say is then I can tackle this problem in a different way, because I don't no, just going to be again I'm asking for I'm asking for trouble. Just raise your hand. The scholars who are using Tamil as their thinking language. Raise your hand. Tamil speaking scholars, now please raise your hand. Then I can think of some other way to tackle these things. Are there any Tamil speaking girls and boys here? Please raise your hand without having a second thought. Nothing wrong. Right. Then I had to read by name and name to understand. Are there any Muslims and Tamil girls and boys are there? Okay, now, second, do you understand my question? Do you hear my question? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Are
we
there,
can hear you.
Yes, sir.
are there any girls and boys are there, Tamil speaking girls and boys?
No,
in this
sir.
batch?
No, sir, no.
Okay.
They all know English and Sinhala very well. No problem with that.
Okay, then I will do in this manner. I will give you a note in bilingual in advance. Okay, in advance before I start the course bilingual, because you are supposed to follow this course in English. I know that it's very difficult. A lot of new words and concepts are there. The problem is on. I am having a full set of notes in all these three languages: Sinhala, English, and Tamil. All these three languages, I got the set. Then I can send it to you in advance, and I will explain using a bilinguals, Sinhala and English, both, for you to give you a better understanding. That is one way of tackling these things. Globally, universally, it is accepted carrying a business educational affairs bilingually, because you are thinking in some other language, studying in some other strange language, concept learning.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Can I disturb you for a moment?
Sure.
Sir, I think language is not the problem. I think in everyone, I think I speak for everyone. I think we feel that the lecture is a bit rushed actually. It's going a bit too fast.
Yeah, sir, because there are students who just finished their A levels and they are like lost at the moment. That's the issue.
No, you said that is a new set of words and all. First, now it's again another twist.
No, that is also right. I mean, there are some new set of words, of course, but I think the common problem everyone is having is that the lecture is very rushed.
Like stimulus, and those are like, I think both. Yeah, sir.
Malsha, this is what in this Zoom thing.
Yeah, sir.
It is not fair to say we, because we are living individually in separate places. Okay, when you are listening these things, it's sound to me that you are dealing with each other in a different connections. Okay, if it is not in the very first day, this is what is happening. Okay, these problems all over the place. You come with a we word.
Yes, we actually spoke on the group because we all don't understand. So we thought of telling this to you because we don't understand, sir. Because everybody was like didn't want to speak to you because they thought it's not nice to tell you that we don't understand. So we thought that it's not nice. Like even if it's your first day, like it's going to be a huge problem because if we don't understand the lecture. And if you go furthermore, it's going to be a problem.
Malsha, these are the ground rules. Okay, these are the ground rules. There's nothing called fair or unfair or not nice and all. If you don't understand, you raise your hand and you have to tell me this is how this learning and teaching take place. Even if it is a face-to-face session, I can read your facial expression and understand whether you get whether you get me or not. Here is a distance mode. I can't see your facial expressions and your body language and all to understand whether you understand it or not. It is usual practice for anyone just dropping into the new subject area. It take long time to understand. Okay, I thought of just stop this lesson and I will show you my another lesson. It is not for you. I made it. I frame it for a bit of higher level of a audience for master's students who are reading for MA in education of a university. This problem comes. This problem comes. It is a natural when you are step into new subject area. New subject area at the very first leg, it is so difficult. That is how our brain works. Nothing wrong. Don't think that, don't have a second thought that I am going to get disappointed of you and all. No, that is not going to happen. If I feel I am not the best teacher for you, I will ask Veronica or Mr. Vasnaik or someone else to give you a better lecture. That is perfectly all right. Nothing personal. Nothing personal. Okay. That is how this educational affairs going on. If you feel uncomfortable, there's no point to spend your time here and spend my time also, which is not going to work it out. You could have be frank to me and tell me, sir, that's not going to work it out. We don't understand. Then I can think of a different way to tackle it. Still, it's not going to work it out. Best thing is give you a better chance. Okay, that is it's very possible. Nothing wrong with it. You don't think that I'm going to get disappointed? No. Why? That is not going to work it out. That is how it is. To learn new subject area.